Good morning. Today is Wednesday, April 22nd, and now as we do each morning, please rise as you are able, remove your hat, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Yesterday we heard from Governor Baker the sad but not surprising news that we're not going to be returning to school this year. That means that Term 4 will start officially on May 4th. We will send information on what that will look like at the end of this week. Students should plan for about 3 hours of work per day, just as we've been doing, maybe a little more, although there will be other enrichment activities available, such as MOOCs. The plan will have more structure and more content, but again, more about that later. Now, this news also lets us know that we're not going to be able to have graduation and prom and other senior events as we had intended. AHS is committed to creating meaningful senior events in keeping with social distancing. So we will work with the students and the families to plan different events. We want to have some this spring at the same time as we might have had something else, and some that will be held at future dates when we can come together. Again, we've had a group working on plans. We'll be gathering input from the seniors and their families, and we'll be rolling out plans in the next week or so. Today is also the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. It's strange to celebrate a day like this when many of us are feeling very shut in, but hopefully you can go out, look out your window, have an opportunity to get outside and walk in your backyard or on a quiet street. Also, you may not know this, but tonight there's a meteor shower. It's called the Lyric Meteor Shower, and we have a new moon, so if we get a cloudless night, you might be able to catch a few shooting stars. Lastly, construction is going to be beginning on the front lawn and the back parking lot later this week. That's right, in spite of everything, construction is slowly moving along. They observe social distancing and take precautions. But if you happen to drive by, you'll see some fencing going up around these areas. They will not block any of the roadways or parking areas. They're associated with construction for the new building, not with any other issues. And now for today's poem. Wednesday's poem will be an original work called Heliocentrism by Mr. Bourassa, our English teacher. Thank you and have a safe day.
Hi everyone, it is Sunday, April 19th, and I am finally getting around to recording my poem of the day. I want to start today's poem of the day recording by thanking Mr. Richardson and Ms. Bissett again for all of the hard work that they're doing. I don't know what's going on. I can't, it's just going to be a bad hair day. Sometimes you have bad hair days, and that's that. Oh well, it is what it is. But thank you to Mr. Richardson and Ms. Bissett for all of their hard work, and for everyone else who's been offering submissions to this awesome project that is really turning into something wonderful. My students have been submitting their own readings for our class. And it's one of the most wonderful things about this whole experience so far. There's so many things. It's brought me peace. It's kept me centered every day, looking for a poem and reading a poem and reflecting and making these videos. But the one thing that I haven't really spoken about yet, I don't think, is that it's gotten me writing again a little bit. And I want to preface what I'm about to do by making very clear, very, very clear, by no means am I comparing myself to any of the esteemed poets I have read their work, whose work I've read in the last month. But it's really interesting. I was talking with one of my bandmates. We send each other a song every day of, like, this is the song I'm thinking about today. Kind of like the poem of the day. It's just an audience of one. And instead of sending a song, I sent over the Tiny Desk concert of Andrew WK a while ago. It was a week or two ago, maybe. And if you don't know who Andrew WK is, most of his songs are like heavy hard rock about partying. Songs like "It's Time to Party," party hard, things like that. So, and his Tiny Desk concert was him with a piano, and he said something along the line, 13 minutes into his NPR's Tiny Desk concert, somebody was like, like, are you afraid of what you're doing? And like, what do you hope people feel? And he was like, I don't hope people feel anything. I'm misquoting him, but the point is, he's saying like, I want to live in that uncomfortable place where like I might fail because I'm trying something, and I don't want people to be inspired if they are cool, but I want to like live in that zone where it's cool to like try things and make mistakes. In any event, I've been writing way more than I have recently. I've been struggling to read fiction recently, with everything going on. I can't get my mind to focus on a world that's not this one around us, even though I know that would probably be very healthy. And I've been writing way more than I have probably in 10 years. And I wrote a poem for my son Miles, because today is his birthday. So I'm going to read this poem for the poem of the day. I think it's the first original submission for this adventure that we've been on, this literary adventure that we've been on. Some part of me, even though I'm an ELA teacher, I'm at least a casual science nerd, I don't know. I was just thinking about this day, his first birthday, which ended up being a wonderful, wonderful day. It was such a great day, and I hope he had half as much fun as I did for his birthday. I was thinking about life. I was thinking about him. I was thinking about what it means to be a parent. And I kind of just got like stuck on this little science kick. I don't want to over-explain it. I'll answer questions if there are questions, I guess. But this is a poem I wrote for my son on his first birthday. And I'm going to read it to you now, I guess. Yeah, I'm just going to... It's a funny vision I had captured... popped into my head walking the dog in the rain last week, and I've been tinkering with it and things like that. So I'm just gonna read it, I guess. So this is for you. I'm not so I'm not so egotistical to think that my writing stands up to any of the wonderful authors who have been shared so far. I don't dislike the idea of him having this recording in the future, though. That's all. So, this is a poem I wrote for my son Miles on his first birthday. Happy birthday, Miles. It's called Heliocentrism. When I arrive in the room, keys jangling at my belt loop, a nervous exhalation, almost like a laugh. They'd already been at it for centuries. Kepler drawing loop-de-loops on the green blackboard, chalky fingerprints spotting the seams of his sport coat, unbuttoned, as something like cigarette smoke swirls near the interrogation cell light, penduluming from the center of a very square room. Nothing is perfectly round, he continues, especially not out there, eliciting a chorus of bully, bully in some old Florentine lingo. Jeers from all the Greeks. It's pronounced ether, except, of course, from Samos. You wouldn't know her. She goes to a different school. Copernicus over in the corner, ransacking the donuts, sprinkles stuck between his teeth, gloating. Just say it. Say I was right. Just say it once. While Ptolemy tempers his anger at his primitive tools. It wasn't his fault he was born in the wrong time, after all. But that's showbiz, baby. Newton mostly leans back, cooler in this stuffy room than he ever was on his first go-round. Can we joke about that here, now? Something foul-smelling bouncing on the fulcrum of his lower lip like a diving board, muttering something about something being heavy or something, slowly striking a match, playing a silent drum beat, and stacking it, smoking, topmost on the half-burnt sulfur-scented structure on the table before him. The street-level empiricist next to him points the paper mess between his index and middle finger at the almost pyre, joking, "Who's Barry Denner, moi?" Always his own best audience, turning first his fingertips toward himself, then his attention, only briefly, back to the discussion, inhaling deeply, asking Isaac what even started this whole conversation in the first place. The cacophony crescendos, clippings canter like headlines, scrolling chyrons, Seleucus simply monitoring the ebb and flow of the argument, Pythagoras calculatingly countering and parrying insults, Althussi, starstruck, staying mostly quiet. As he shouts, mouthfuls of pastry fall from Copernicus. Galileo looks a bit more closely across the table at Descartes, whose major contribution to the whole thing seems to be just thinking about it. He's just jazzed about being on the show, man. I clear my throat timidly, seeking not to stop their momentum, at which Newton sputters, chuckling, and I, once more, the chaos settling slowly as Archimedes retorts, "No, screw you," after someone calls him simple, the last distinguishable fortissimo in a dissonant piano. They slowly swivel their seats toward me, brushing their crumbs and chalk and ash off their hands and onto the table, their laps, and wait for me, of all people, to say something. Herschel, hulking at the green board, lifts his hands, spreads his fingers briefly. A fire burns in Brahe's eye, certain he knows what I'm about to say, as Torinensis breathes a chocolate "Viench" into the space. I motion, not to the Danish, but to the man who's reached that phase of his tour de breakfast, both of our eyebrows raised, his in anticipation, raspberry jam orbiting his mouth, mine in congratulations. And he smiles, because after a year of researching on my own, I now know, and I let him know, he was right. He was always so right. Thank you for listening and for joining me. Miles, whenever you are old enough to science, happy birthday. I love you very much. If this poem did not tell you that. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to send something like this out into the world. For my little guy and for anyone else who'd like to listen. So, thank you for humoring me, and thank you for your time. Please make sure that you continue being good to yourself, be well, be kind, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, wash your hands, please. And let's keep leaning on the science, because it's what's going to help us out here. And yeah, thank you to everyone. And obviously a shout out to my lovely wife, with whom this poem, and obviously my son Miles, would not be a thing. All right, that's enough from me. If you're still here, I appreciate it. If you have any feedback, I think I'm willing to listen to it, I guess. So, thank you, and take care of yourselves. We'll see you tomorrow for another edition of the Poem of the Day.